Yo, what's up? It's Kyle Got Camera, and in this video, we're gonna talk about why your sleep sucks and what to do about it. Look, if I'm gonna be real, this video has the ability to absolutely change your life. And I don't say that lightly. So if you can stay with me, if you can actually maintain a longer attention span than a goldfish, and you can watch this entire video, then you are going to get so much value, it's not even funny. So I'm gonna lay out the video into sections, and I'm gonna put timestamps right here. And at the end, I'll put an 80-20 of all these things that you can do that's gonna make the biggest difference, in my opinion. This is an extremely comprehensive video. We're gonna go through a lot of stuff, so don't feel overwhelmed and think that you need to do everything. But if you're really struggling with your sleep, you might wanna just throw the kitchen sink at the wall and go ham. If that's you, then feel free, be my guest. However, for most of you watching, it might just be appropriate to start with 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of these tools or habits or lifestyle interventions and start stacking them after you can build up a ritual and a routine with it. There's a lot of reasons why you could be tired, you could be stressed, you could be overworked, you could have an underlying infection, you could have stuff going on with your gut, but for the purpose of this video, we're just gonna stay on the topic of sleep. So I literally made this video for my friends who reach out to me, and hopefully if that's you, you're my friend and you need help with your sleep, just do what I say in this video and it will change your life. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Kyle. I talk about health, wellness, biohacking, lifestyle, time freedom, all the things. So if you're into that, consider subscribing right now. I've literally spent years of my life experimenting on my health and mastering the science and the art of getting great sleep. Now, I don't claim to be an expert necessarily. I have just worked with many experts and I have put these things into practice and I have seen the results in my life. When I'm looking to take advice from anyone, I always want to see someone who's getting the type of results that I want to get. So here are some sleep scores for you. That is a pretty regular thing for me now. And I wouldn't say that I get perfect sleep every night, but I know exactly what to do when I fall off the rails or when I want to get really good sleep. And I spent so much time, energy, money, copious amounts of money investing into my health. And out of all the things that I did, mastering my sleep was one of the cheapest, the easiest, and the simplest to implement. Yet it seemed to have the biggest impact out of all the stuff that I was doing. Also, I'm not a doctor and I don't pretend to be one. I'm literally just a kid on the internet making YouTube videos. So take that with a grain of salt. This isn't medical advice, but these are things that I put into practice that I've seen great results with. When you master these basics, it's gonna have a downstream effect on all other areas of your life and all other facets of your health. So let me share with you just my mindset around sleep and why it's so important. When I look at sleep, I look at it as the foundational pillar by which all components of our health, our energy, and our life are really built upon. And there's a reason why sleep deprivation is like one of the most effective forms of torture. It's because once you start messing with sleep, all the other things start breaking down. And so the way that I look at sleep is a sacred experience. It is a sacred practice for me because everything in my life is going to be influenced by the quality of my sleep. And if you want to create an amazing life, if you want to thrive in your business, if you want to have the body of your dreams, if you want to be the type of person that you're trying to become, then all of those things are going to be influenced by how you feel. And how you feel is going to be influenced by how you sleep, okay? Now imagine you could take a pill where it would give you godlike energy, you'd have unbelievable sex drive, you'd be happy all the time, and it would make you resilient against stress and overwhelm. Well, that's kind of what sleep can give you when you start mastering this skill. And yes, it is a skill, and yes, it is a practice. And once I started doing this, I started to realize, wow, this sleep thing, there's really something here. Let's move on to the next thing, all right, which is tracking. Why is tracking so important? Tracking is important to me because it tells me where I'm at. And if I know where I'm at, I know where I want to go, I can just fill the gap with the things that we're going to talk about in this video. And if you've never tracked your sleep before, you have no idea, you have no reference point to what good sleep or bad sleep is. You might just be feeling like, hey, I'm tired, but I don't know why I'm tired. Or I wake up groggy, but I got 8 hours. And so you don't have an understanding of the actual quality of your sleep and signals that your body is giving to you, basically telling you exactly how well you are sleeping. So there's two devices that I would recommend right now. I use the Oura Ring and the BioStrap. These are both good for different reasons. This one is very low profile, fits on your finger, and it will track all the things: HRV, REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, activity, all that stuff, right? It is $300, and the caveat here is if you work out with barbells a lot, I would probably not use this. It gets in the way, but it holds a charge for a long time. It's water resistant, and I made a full video about it, which I will link up right here or here, wherever it is, and you can go see if it's right for you. This is the BioStrap. It does everything that the Oura Ring does, and it also measures oxygen saturation. It's a bit cheaper. It's about $150. It is not water resistant, but it also tracks activity and all the things. You choose, you can check them out. Everything will be linked up in the description as well. The other part of tracking that is so important is when you start making these adjustments and you start using these different tools or these different habits or lifestyle interventions, you can start seeing how these impact your sleep. And then it sort of gamifies the process. Now, you don't want to get so obsessed with the numbers that it stresses you out, right? The reason why I think tracking is so powerful though is like when we become aware of things, behavior changes. So when you start seeing how certain things do impact your sleep, negative or positive, you will start making behavioral change almost automatically. So that's tracking. Make sure you get something. It doesn't matter what company or what device, just something that will be consistent for you, and you can do it over the long period of time. Okay, next we're going to talk about circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is basically the internal clock that tells your body when to wake up and when to go to bed. It regulates all types of functions in your body, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but just know that it is the master key. It is very, very important. And so we want to set our circadian rhythm. And so the way that we can do this, the way that I did it, is I did a 36-hour fast. And I did a 36-hour fast because I want to clear out my system, all right? I want to confuse my body and let it know that when I eat my first meal, that is the beginning of the day. So I fasted all through the night one day, and then all through the day and the night the next day. And then the first thing in the morning is I ate breakfast at 9 o'clock. We want to eat breakfast at the same time every morning so that we can tell our body, hey, this is the time that I want to kick up my metabolism and it's time to start digesting food. And we're gonna get into how to wake up in just a second, but when the sun starts to go down, we are going to put on these blue light blocking glasses. These are from Swannies, and what they do is when you put them on, they block blue light. And blue light, which can be the artificial light that comes from the lights in your house or from your computer, from your cell phone. When you're exposed to blue light, it tells your body that, hey, it's still daytime. It's still daytime, it's still time to be awake. And so when the sun goes down, when we put on these glasses, it's going to tell our bodies, hey, it's time to start getting ready for bed. And our bodies will naturally start producing melatonin so that we can actually get ready and be primed for bed. So again, we're programming this internal clock. We did it with the breakfast in the morning, like, hey, it's time to get things going. Now we're doing it in the evening. Hey, it's time to wind things down. This brings me to my next point, which is we want to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every evening and every morning. This is on that same train of the circadian rhythm where we're programming our body to say, hey, this is the time that we get up, this is the time that we go to bed. You would be dumbfounded about how many people cannot stick to a regular sleep schedule, especially people who work from home or are entrepreneurs or run their own thing. Is they're not getting up and going into an office or going to a job, then they kind of are loosey-goosey with their hours. It's super important that we are consistent with going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. The question is what is the best time to get up and what is the best time to go to bed? Well, it depends. There's something called a chronotype, which means that you could be a night person or you could be a morning person. or you could be somewhere in between. And there's different segments of the population that fit into these different categories. What I will say though is that I was an evening person my entire life, and I've effectively changed to a morning person. And the reason why I changed to a morning person is because there is certain recovery aspects of the sleep process that take place earlier in the night that I want to get. I personally go to bed around 10, 10:30, and I'm up at 6, 6:30. If you're watching this and you're a night owl or you feel like a night owl, I would really invite you into the possibility that if you could get to bed before 11, it would be very advantageous for you. This is a perfect segue into the next section, which is how you wake up. You know, when we're talking about sleep, when we're talking about all these things, the first thing people go to is the evening routine and, you know, what to do at nighttime to get ready for bed. And we're going to talk about that. But what is even more senior to that, believe it or not, is how we wake up. On the same train of that circadian rhythm, first thing that I do when I get out of bed is I grab a hot cup of water and I walk right outside and I watch the sunrise. The reason why I watch the sunrise is I am exposing myself to that blue light, that UV light from the sun, telling my body, telling my mitochondria to wake up. This is part of that circadian training where we are getting in the rhythm of the sun. When the sun comes up, we get up. When the sun goes down, we go down. You see, there's these two hormones that are going up and down throughout the day, right? When we wake up, we get a boost of cortisol. And when we go to bed, we get a boost of melatonin. So the cortisol is waking us up, it's revving our body up, and the melatonin is relaxing us, it's soothing us, it's priming us for sleep. And so when we wake up, we want to be in line with that cortisol rhythm, with our circadian rhythm, and we want to expose as much natural light to our skin as possible first thing when we wake up. So as we wake ourselves up, the next thing I'll go into is moving my body, some type of movement practice. And what this does, it is telling my body again, like now is the time to be awake. It is waking up the tissues and the muscles and the organs saying, hey, time to get the day started. So another way that I'm supporting these functions of waking up is I'll actually sit in front of this red light back here. So this device back here, it's a red light therapy device, comes from Red Light Co. And what this does is it stimulates the mitochondria. It stimulates the powerhouse inside the cell to create energy in the body. And this is, again, very similar to the exposure of the sunlight, but has tons of other health benefits that I'm not going to get into in this video. So you can start to see a pattern, you can start to see a trend of how I go about thinking about waking up. You know, I am turning on my cells, I am turning on my body, I am organizing myself in a way where my body will know, hey, it's morning, it's time to be awake. I'm sending as many signals as I can to my body to say, let's get up, let's get the day started, let's go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to smash a 32-ounce bottle of water first thing. Again, more signals to my body saying, hey, it's time to wake up. Also, I recommend that if you have a water bottle, that it be glass for so many reasons that I'm not going to get into now, but this is the one that I use, and it's got a nice silicone protector thing so it doesn't break, but glass all the way. This is like a cue, right? Because it's exactly how much water I should be drinking first thing in the morning. So I know immediately when I wake up, okay, I get to crush this entire bottle of water, and I don't need to think about how many glasses I have to drink, or it never slips my mind because it always just sits next to my bed and I take it with me as I walk outside. You've done the heavy lifting in the morning. This is going to be so good for setting yourself up for success later on in the evening. The only other thing that I would recommend during the day is that you eat lunch relatively at the same time every day as well. Your body loves this regularity. It loves the routine. It understands these rituals, and it will adjust accordingly because you're programming it to do it that way. So let's talk about the evening now and the evening routine. One of the most influential factors that I have seen amongst myself and my friends and my peers that come to me for sleep problems is this one simple concept, which is move the time that you eat as far back away from your sleep time as possible. So if you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, I try to eat at 5 o'clock, and I will not eat another meal between 5 and 10. And that way my body has time to digest. And because it's complete with its digestion by the time I'm going to sleep, that allows something called the lymphatic system, which is like the lymphatic system inside your brain, to clear itself out and allows repair, recovery, and restoration to take place. Trust me, you want this. This is a very good thing. This next one is probably the hardest one, and also probably one of the most important ones as well, which is you got to disconnect from the screens. You got to get away from the TV, from the computer, from the phone, 1 to 2 hours before you go to sleep. If you can do 2, it's going to change your life. If you can do 1, that is great, and that's a huge step in the right direction. What I found is that our phones are so addicting, the screens are so addicting, the notifications are so all-consuming that we're gonna be in bed to the very last minute before we go to sleep on our phones looking at our screen. And so we get to put in real boundaries in our life so that those things don't happen. The human body needs space. It needs silence and quiet time and less stimulation in order for it to properly wind down and to go into deep sleep. So once you disconnect, there's some activities that you can do to help yourself wind down. And this could look like soft tissue work. This could look like meditation or gentle breath work or reading, listening to an audiobook, or having sex. Any of these things can help you relax, can help you wind down, can help you get ready for sleep, because once you've started this activity or you've been doing it for a little bit, you're going to start feeling tired eventually. Now, weirdly enough, there's this one thing that you can do that I was very surprised by, which is you can take cold showers. So before you go to sleep, take a shower and turn it cold at the end. And this is actually really going to help cool your system and keep you cool during sleep. And why this is important is your body temperature needs to stay cool in order to keep you in a very deep and rested state. Another thing that I was really surprised by that makes a really big impact is planning your day tomorrow, today. The reason why I think this works, I have no evidence to support this, but this is just my theory. The reason why I think this works is because when you get everything out of your head, all the anxiety, all the worry, all the stuff that you have to do is just out of your head, it's onto a paper, and your unconscious will now be able to rest. It doesn't have to like work on those things. It's not thinking about those things. You know, if you ever struggle with racing thoughts or you can't turn your brain off, this might be a really good exercise for you to do in order to empty your mind. And I've seen really good benefits from this, not just for myself, but for all the people that come to me for help. And then there's this low-hanging fruit supplement that drastically improves my deep sleep, which is magnesium glycinate. I take about 400 milligrams and I take it an hour before bed. Every time I take it, I just get great deep sleep. Results may vary. You might want to look at different types of magnesium. There's a whole bunch of different types. The one that I take is the Cal brand magnesium glycinate. So this should go without saying, but when the sun goes down and the blue blockers go on, you definitely want to limit any and all blue light that you can. Which brings us into our next segment, which is the bedroom. And I've already done a video about how I optimize my bedroom for sleep, so I'm just gonna run through these really quickly. But when we put on our blue blockers and it's time to start getting ready for bed, we wanna turn off all the lights in our room. And we wanna turn off any lights in the house if we can manage, or what might work for you is to replace some of your light bulbs with red lights. So you could put in your bedroom red lights, or you could have a red light therapy device, or you could buy some pink Himalayan salt lamps and put them next to your bed, as I've done back here. And when the sun goes down, you just turn off the lights and you turn these on. You will be dumbfounded how big of an impact this has on how you wind down and how you get ready for bed and how sleepy you are before you get into bed. So there's some basic fundamentals when it comes to sleep hygiene in your room, which is you want to keep it as dark as possible. You want to keep it as quiet as possible. And you want to keep it as cold as you can really manage. So not so cold that you're like shivering and stuff, but 60 degrees, 65 degrees, that's like a good sweet spot. And if you can keep low temperatures, you can keep it quiet, you can keep it dark, you can keep out the blue light or your exposure to blue light then you're gonna be in good shape. There's a couple items that you can add to your bedroom that are really epic lifestyle multipliers as well, which are, I have a lavender infused weighted blanket. So when I get into bed, it's very calming, it's very soothing, it's very relaxing. The next thing on this list is a HEPA air filter. This is actually so overlooked. The reason why having a HEPA air filter is so important is, especially if you live in a humid environment, or there's lots of dust in your house, or you live with animals like dogs or cats, or you have allergies, this filter will collect all that stuff and it will capture it so that it's not floating around in your rooms. And the reason why this is so important is because we're breathing this air in all the time without even thinking about it. And there's stuff in the air. There's mold in the air, there's dust in the air, there's pollen in the air, there's all these things in the air in our room that we get to filter, right? And when we filter this stuff out, we get to sleep better, we get to just live better, we get to have better health in general. And last but not least, you can get a essential oil diffuser to diffuse maybe some lavender or some other soothing or calming aroma that can help prime your other senses to get ready for bed. When you start doing these things, it's like walking into a spa every time you're getting ready for bed. It's incredible. So at this point, you might be like, Kyle, this is so much stuff. Like, how do you do all this stuff? I don't do all this stuff all the time. And these things accumulated over like a year or 2 years. So don't feel the need to just get everything unless you're a crazy optimizer like me. But pick 1 or 2 or 3 things that you think might make the biggest impact for you. And I want to give you the 80-20 right now of what I think and what I've seen makes the biggest difference for people right away. First and foremost is you want to wake up and go to bed at the same time every night. Just bottom line, if you can't do that, like I don't even know, like what are you doing? Come on. Second thing is you get to get some blue blockers, okay? These make such a difference. It's ridiculous. Such a difference. Yes, they make you look like a fiend, and you're gonna thank me later, okay? The not eating before bed thing is fucking huge. It's so big, it's such a big deal. Just experiment with it, you'll see, trust me. Believe it or not, the cold showers actually, it's just so easy and it's free and it makes a difference. Like you'll see a difference. Getting off technology 1 to 2 hours before bed. This one's obvious, guys. Just do it. Just do it. The magnesium, again, super cheap. All you do is you take a supplement right before bed, an hour before bed, and it works, okay? It really works. Don't take too much because you might get disaster pants, but speak with your doctor about that. And then last but not least is you definitely want to track it. Like you definitely want to track what is going on with your sleep. You need to find out where you're at so you can know where to go. You're gonna figure out through experimentation, through trying some of these things, what actually makes a difference for you, what really moves the needle. And then you'll have like an armory of these 3 things, right? Like you have these 3 levers that you pull when you're getting bad sleep. And it's like, cool, I need my blue blockers, I need to take a cold shower, and I need to take my magnesium. If I do those 3 things, boom, I'm getting at least an 80-85 sleep score. And when you can know with that level of accuracy, it gives you so much confidence and you'll never feel like out of control or like you don't have a handle on your sleep. When you master your sleep, you're gonna have godlike energy. You'll have a new sense of peace and calmness. You'll be happy for no reason, and you'll have a better sex drive, and you'll be so much more resilient and resistant to stress and overwhelm. It's like the greatest superpower in the world. And when everyone's reaching for stimulants and yawning in the afternoon, you're gonna be laughing straight to the bank. Trust me, implement these things, it will change your life. I'm so happy you took the time to make it all the way through this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about changing your sleep habits, about getting amazing sleep. I will do my best to answer every one of them. And I cannot wait for you to get results. Let me know how this goes. Let me know how these interventions, these tools, and these strategies work for you. And I will see you in the next video. As always, my name's Kyle Got Camera. Be well.